fictions, and we're going to discover more and more about that.
Yeah.
And I don't know how to, because I read on his biography, and it's quite long. It's just like, oh my god, how to summarize it. And we're going to continue during that. We're going to interview him and get to know more about you as well. And thank you very much for coming. Yes, especially now, he actually, Mr. Don actually lived here for 19 years. Yes, in
wait, hold on.
19
I
years.
heard 9.
No,
19 years.
It's not wrong.
So is this all over Thailand, or is it just
10 years in Bangkok and 9 years here in Chiang Mai.
Okay, 9 years in Chiang Mai, 10 in Bangkok. The equivalent of you being in Bangkok and also as a native New Yorker, that is not difference, huh? There's no difference in that. I mean, Bangkok, big cities.
Between
New York, bigger,
Bangkok,
bigger.
They're different ends of the world.
Yeah.
It's totally different. They're big cities. But
But why Thailand? How about that? So
actually, I was my other hat is academic. So I was academic director of the Language Institute, City University of New York, and the people from AUA here, American University alumni, they recruited me as the academic director for AUA Thailand.
Okay.
And at the time, I was ready for a change. And I had lived and worked in Asia, but always Northern Asia, like China, Japan, Mongolia. I'd never been to Southeast Asia. So I came over and we talked a little bit, went back to New York, and decided to come back.
Oh, wow.
And that's how I ended up here.
Oh, wow. So you just made a decision, like, you know what, Thailand.
Yep. Never been here before.
There's always a link in between Thai people and also Thai as a country itself and also the U.S. There's always people always come here and then they fall in love with it and then they end up living here.
Yes.
or at least try to.
Yes.
So because we as a PRD3, we always have to ask every foreigner when they come here what they like about Thailand. So what would be your first thing, if I say what comes to your mind when I say Thailand?
Good question. If you'd asked me the question 19 years ago, the answer would be very different.
See?
In the beginning, it's exotic, it's different. Now it's just life here. Sometimes I talk to people about the wow factor. Like I remember the first time I went to the markets and I saw stuff and it was like, wow, this is amazing. And now it's like, it's
like
same old.
The grasshopper is all the same.
Right. But it's just it's a nice place to be. I need to get out from time to time, just to something a little bit more familiar.
Right.
So
go
to the States, go to Europe, something like that.
Yeah.
But in general, it's just life.
So like in terms of Chiang Mai, we have different weather. Bumi can tell you about how great it is to wake up in the morning and go for coffee, for example.
That's my routine.
That's a routine. But because Bangkok, you don't get this type of weather, and you don't really see the sky. Well, I mean, in terms of over here as well. But I would like to ask the difference between, let's say, living in Bangkok and also coming over here in Chiang Mai. Was the weather big part of the reason why you live here as well?
Not really. What happened is I was at AUA for about 4 years. Then I had my own consulting company working with government agencies and academic and creative stuff. And then there was no reason to be in Bangkok anymore. I mean, I was writing more full-time. And even though I'm a New Yorker from big city, I've lived in a lot of small places. And I really don't like big cities anymore. So my wife and I decided to leave, and she's from Nan. So
wow.
It made sense to come north, but I like the ocean, but I don't particularly like the culture in the south. We first, we came up and we first went to Nan to look, because that made some sense. But as we were talking before, Nan's a nice place, beautiful, but after 2 weeks, I probably,
Nothing
jump
to
off a
do.
cliff. Right?
You walked all over town in 2 weeks.
And then we found a place that we really liked here in Chiang Mai.
Yeah.
And, just it's kind of the ideal place. I mean, even my wife says that of all the places in Thailand, this is sort of the best place to be.
Yeah,
Yeah.
good choice.
It has everything, but it's also more calm and the weather, everything.
Yeah. So I believe like Chiang Mai has different pieces for each and every one of our lifestyle.
Right.
If you like coffee, but before, 10 years ago or 5 years ago rather, when we have to get something, we have to go out and order from like Bangkok or something, right? But now they have everything here now.
Yes.
Everything.
So you can always be happy going
Yeah.
somewhere.
Do a lot. Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, it's interesting because a lot of my friends back in not my friends, but people back in the States who've never traveled outside the States, and they have a very different idea of what Thailand is.
Really?
When I tell them that I can get anything here,
You're
they
lying.
just can't believe it. Yeah, I mean, it's
But
like,
the weird thing that are the weird things that they think of Thailand.
Yeah.
What could you give us the example? Like one of my friends told me like, am I still riding an elephant to the university? That is what they think. Yeah, really. I mean, like
Wow.
that's the first question that my American friend
Right.
asked me.
Yeah.
Like, do you actually ride an elephant to the university?
Awesome though. I would be like,
just
really?
oh
Wow.
my god,
Cool.
we do have motorbike. We do have a car or something like that.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think I don't want to be too cynical, but I think why not, right? But I think a lot of perceptions of Thailand are not exactly super positive. I mean, first of all, a lot of Americans, especially, they think that everything in Asia is people are praying 24/7 to their ancestors in the streets. It's not. I mean, and of course, the whole sex thing comes up a lot,
Yeah, sure.
and very misunderstood in a lot of ways. And it's really hard for people who haven't been here to imagine that it's normal life. I mean, if I want to go to the supermarket and get even something that I tend to use a lot of organic products.
Yeah.
If I want to get organic products from the States, it's right there in
Yeah,
the thing.
it's right there.
Yeah, it's all there,
Yes.
And I mean, there's a whole sort of underbelly side. And you can do it or not do it. It's not like a requirement of living here.
Yeah.
So,
And before, this is really funny to a lot of people, but the way I see it, a lot of Thai people, they shift their interest towards a foreign community.
right.
For example, they open a restaurant. Before, every menu would be in Thai, correct? But now they try their best to make it in English as well.
Right.
And my friend, they would complain they spelled it wrong. But I always say, like, at least they try, man. They want to make you understand.
Right,
So
right,
what more do you want? You know?
Right.
Waterfall or
Yeah.
something like that.
Yeah, right.
Pork waterfall or something
Yeah, pork.
like that.
You ever try that?
Yeah. Did you know
yeah.
what does this mean? It's more like a pork with spicy salad, but Isan style.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that dish right there, they call it pork waterfall because they
Yes.
use Google Translate
Yeah.
to
Oh,
translate
okay.
to translate
Yeah.
namtok.
Mu is pork, namtok is waterfall.
Yeah, there you go, pork
And
waterfall.
then it's mu
Yeah.
namtok. Yeah.
Right.
So yeah, you see quite a few signs where they use Google Translate. But
Right,
at least they
right.
try because they
Yes.
can communicate. And now a lot of Chinese tourists
Well,
come in.
Yeah, I'm shocked actually. I mean, because I've been here for so long, I've seen the sort of Chinese invasion, and now in Nimanim, there are
yes.
shops that don't even have Thai or English signs.
Yeah,
it's just
exactly.
all Chinese, and that's kind of astounding.
Yes.
I was like that. I'm like, should I go in here? Do they speak Thai?
Oh, actually, talking about like that on the Niman Hemin Road, and we have the shopping mall, the new shopping mall that everyone knows
right.
is on Soy 1. Yes,
Yeah.
and then, yeah, and then I had a chance to talk with a taxi driver, the red car, and then they
okay.
mentioned about like if Chinese told them to go to the Chinatown, it's mean Niman Hemin
Oh,
Road.
okay.
It's no longer be like
Yeah.
Waro Road
Wow.
Market
Yeah.
anymore.
Wow.
And then they just mentioned that is the new Chinatown for them,
Mhm.
and Chinese will go traveling on Iman Himin Road, and if their target, the tourism like from Europe or from the West, they're going to go to Night Bazaar. I don't know. It's like, is that true? But this is what I had a conversation with a taxi driver, and then this is it.
Yeah.
Pretty
See,
much
there you
like
go.
that.
Things are changing. A lot of things are changing.
Yes.
So we are, just seeing the changes. I'm kind of glad I could see all these changes from Chiang Mai being a cultural city. It's still a cultural city, beautiful city, to change from being a quiet town to like this big tourist center. You know, you got the Night Bazaar, you got One Niman, right? You got Niman Himen, all that. So depends on where you want to go. I mean, friends drop by. It's like, where should I go? I said, you know what? Just go everywhere you want. You can even walk around the moat if you want. You know, that's the beauty of Chiang Mai. So we just kind of give you a glimpse of Dawn's life in Chiang Mai to all the people. Yeah, maybe your friend in the US, they're thinking like, yeah, why Chiang Mai, right? Why did you choose Chiang Mai? You're here for many years, and does that tell you that living here for so long, do you think that if you go back to New York, is that like a home? Do you consider that as a hometown now?
Yeah, I mean, New York is, you can take a New Yorker outside of New York, but never take the New York outside of New York. I mean, I if I go back to New York, I immediately slip into my New York ways, my speed and everything. But I've traveled like all my life, so I can adjust very easily to places. But I still have that New York speed, and that's sometimes a little bit problematic here, because as you know, things tend to be a lot slower here. But but now actually, it's a little bit. New York is a little bit more foreign to me than it used to be, and things have changed there so much too. Like. I took my wife there for the first time about 6 years ago or something, and I felt like almost like a tourist. I kept passed by something, I'd say, well, this used to be this and everything. I felt like, oh my God, things have changed so much in so little time.
Bumi, can you imagine if you leave Chiang Mai for about 20 years, and then you finally come back to Chiang Mai, you're like, that used to be here. Where is it now? You know,
you have the memory of the history. You kind of like been. How to say, like, I speak Thai. The library that is a mobile library, and there was a TED Talk in Bangkok. Actually, there was a man who lived in the Chinatown, and he gave the speech about, like he will have the map, the old map, and then he report out that this used to be that building, and he can tell all the story. And. Yeah, I cannot remember his name, but you can just Google and just talk about. He just talked about Charoen Krung. Charoen Krung Street, and that's it. Things change. I mean, like for 20 years, and then you will have to. If I would leave Chiang Mai for 20 years, I would come back, and I probably just feel like I don't know the city anymore, and
it's like feeling like detached, huh?
Even the 9 years that I've been here, we bought a condo in Tampuak near the convention center, and one of the reasons we liked that, it was close enough to the city without being in the city, but it was very rural. We faced the mountain and everything, but since we've been there, they've built about 10 hotels, condos. It's really changed even that small area in a short time.
But on that area actually is a livable area. I mean, like it's just to where to go to my home. I live on the Canal Road too, but I know like it's really when I ride at nighttime, because there was a nice restaurant around there, and it's pretty quiet at nighttime, and then you can see the mountain view, and also it's less busy. It's less busy.
But then 10 years ago it was even less less busy. And can you imagine in the US or Canada, usually if it's a less busy street, usually when there's like Super Bowl or like the sports event, when they have that, everybody just like stay inside and watch. I remember the hockey final where Vancouver was in the finals. There was no cars on the road. You could literally sleep on the road in Canada. It was like, what the hell?
Too quiet,
it's too quiet, right? So that's.
But in Chiang Mai, one things that you have to accept is the airplane.
there.
Like, you will hear it.
Yeah,
I mean, like
you hear it.
especially if you live on Sutep Road. Or,
Yeah, you hear it all the time.
Yes, you
Yeah.
hear it all the time. But I get used to it. I has no problem with the
Yeah.
plane.
Like imagine living by there. I mean, a lot of people on the runway there, right? There's a Muban. There's a town
Yes.
over there.
Yes.
So you get used to it. You're like
Yes.
nothing happens
Yes.
after. All right. So
Yes.
that's your point of view for Chiang Mai.
Yeah.
Let's talk about film now. Okay, let's talk about what we have. You have so many things here. I don't know where to start. Like, should I go
Jump in, please.
Yeah.
Yes.
Should I go with let's do screenwriting last. But then what would be your most what do you call it? What would be your most like proud like the best moment in film? Is it the Last Executioner?
Yeah, Last Execution was very special for me because it was actually the first feature film I ever wrote. My background is more as a short story writer. In New York, I was sort of a hot short story writer, well known. And I had written small scripts. I'd written for a Japanese cable TV show and everything, but I had never done a feature script. And that one, the way it came about too, was just extraordinary for me. And everything about it. I mean, I became friends with Chavaret, the executioner.
Yeah.
He died a couple of years ago, so we're still friends with his wife and daughter. And for me also, it was quite an achievement because that in 2015 we won Tukata Tongue Award, which is like the equivalent of the Golden Globes in Thailand, for best film and best screenplay, which made me the only non-Thai to ever win the Tukata Tongue since the King started the awards over 60 years ago.
Yeah.
So that was like a real proud moment. I have to say.
Right.
Shocking, but proud.
Yeah. but the feeling. I mean, to get to that point.
Yeah.
Like, did you have? Well, before that moment, okay. So, were you expecting it to be this big?
No.
I think that's
Never.
it right there, because you're doing it, and you're doing it like, okay, I did good enough.
Yeah.
That was a moment, right? Yeah, I did good enough, and all of a sudden it just reached the top, and you're like, wow.
Yeah.
So that's a wow moment for you
Yeah,
too.
that was amazing. It was really amazing.
Okay, so The Last Executioner.
Yes.
And then that's also the film was directed by Tom Waller. Yeah?
Right.
Yeah. So Tom Waller, he was on the show last month. So he contacted you for The Cave.
Right.
Yeah. Did you before you write the screenwriting? Did you know what happened? Everybody knows what happened with The Cave. So was that something that you want to do, or was it something so much?
Well, when we first sat down and talked about the project, my concern was how do you write a feature film and keep the tension and suspense when everybody in the world knows what happened in the story and knows the ending of the story.
I can spoil so many people when the movie came out because we know what's the ending is, right?
Exactly.
So what goes on your mind in terms of, because everybody know the outcome.
Right.
So what are the key point where you would make for the suspense for people to keep people like, oh man, what's going to happen next?
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't follow the standard sort of arc of a film. I mean, most feature films have a very, very set design to them, and when you know that, you almost can't watch a film without knowing, it's going to change at this point, that point. But this was different because we were following a real story. Yeah. And Tom had decided from the very beginning to focus on the sort of untold story, not on all the
Untold
major
story.
heroes and everything, but on the sort of common people involved with it. And that's what I like to write about. I mean, in general, I'm more of a character-centered writer than a plot-centered writer, and people fascinate me in their lives and their lives behind their lives. So this is how we did it. I mean, just focusing on the people and how they participate, what they contributed to the story, and to the unfolding of it.
Yeah. So did you have to talk to most of these people? Like, did that happen?
Yeah, I mean, we talked to quite a number of people. I mean, there were a couple of characters in the film who I especially sort of lobbied to get in, right? Like there's the one woman rice farmer, Mebua, and I just found her extraordinary as a person, and in how she dealt with the problems that arose. Right. Also the monk who they called in to do the merit making. I liked him a lot because I had watched all these videos and read about him and everything. And he's a forest monk, a peripatetic forest monk. And what I liked about his story, and these are the little details I like to focus on, is when he came to the site, there was a big press crush on him and everything. And the somebody yelled out to him. Oh, what happened is people believe that he's the recent reincarnation of the stable boy that figures in the myth of Nanong. So somebody yelled out to him, "Do you believe that you're the reincarnation of the stable boy?" And he just went, "Passive." And that moment just sort of like, that got me on him. So it's those sort of things. I mean, to make things suspenseful and interesting, I focus on character.
Yeah, because the thing is, like, when the event occurred that time, I don't know what happened, but I was drawn to the myth behind that, right? So I ended up reading like 3 hours worth of this story. It's fiction. I don't know if it's real, but it's a belief also. Right. So that was drawn to me more than the events that happened, and then my imagination just went forward in terms of like maybe somebody did something bad or something that happens, and that's why this event occurred, things like that. It just kind of it goes two ways also, but it's also probably more interesting for you as well to write about this.
I was very drawn to the myth of Nanong, and I actually would have liked to have seen more of that in the film. But, Tom, as the director, makes the final decisions. But this is one thing we didn't see eye to eye on exactly.
Should I call him right now?
No, please don't. I know he's going to be hearing this too, so I'm sorry, Tom. But yeah, I mean, there's just differences, and the director has the final say, obviously. But I thought the myth was fascinating, and the locals believe it 100%.
Yeah,
I mean, when we interviewed Maebua, for example, the farmer, I asked her, do you believe that the monk is the reincarnation? And she just like said, of course, everybody does. And that's an important part of life up there. And
I tried to find the name of the monk. I cannot remember. Kuba Bunchum, yes. Because he went there and then he just like prayed, and after that he mentioned about that. In 2 days you will find the team. Yes, and then later on 2 days. 2 days later, found the team. Found the team.
And then after he made that prediction, he went silent until the boys were rescued. So that was kind of weird.
It's a mystery, but also I think just kind of coming out and saying what you need to say and then go back in the dark. That's like the most mysterious thing. And then we all look back into it like, hey, didn't that happen? Where is he now? Things like that. But did you have a hard time, because obviously when you interviewed these like the rice farmer and also the monk, I'm guessing you have to have a translator, right?
Actually the third co-writer on this was Katie Gross, who is Tom's wife, and she's also like Tom, half British, half Thai, and so she did the translation as I did the interview. So that because I mean there's language barrier too, obviously. I mean it was different for the last executioner because Kun Chavaret spoke English. He spoke perfect English. And he wrote several books in English. So I mean, I had hours and hours of interviews with him, which were a little weird sometimes, considering that he was a guy who executed 55 people, sitting across the desk from him. It was strange. But I mean, that's what it is.
And for the total time that, Tom called you, be like, hey, you're going to write the script. So how long did it take from that moment until the very last?
I'm not sure exactly how much, but there was a real essence for the time on this, because a lot of other studios at that time were saying they were going to make a film of this. None of them actually came through. Some of the big Hollywood studios, and then Netflix has already started its project. They're not going to do a feature film; they do a 6-part series. But so there was some time pressure on that. So we did it pretty quickly. I mean, maybe.
I think you guys did it pretty quick.
Yeah, it had to be. But again, the story was there, so it was just sort of fleshing it out in a way that was satisfying to us, and we thought would be satisfying to the audience.
Like in the end, after the movie was released, critics go in and rate it. In the end, I believe the movie is really good, and you guys try to fit all the suspense in there just because it's a movie, right? It's not like a true documentary where it's this should happen and that should happen. And I wanted to ask, did you feel like this type of events or screenwriting, should it be some sort of like an episodes, like a series of events that happen? Like, for example, 6 parts of this is a movie. Do you think that's the case, or was it better like this?
Hard to say. I mean, I don't know what Netflix is coming up with. Netflix is doing a lot of stuff now in that 6-part limited series, and I actually like it quite a bit. I just, as a writer, I find it an interesting challenge, and I sort of think that way in episodes. It's hard to say which is better in any given instance. But in terms of taking real stories, I mean, this one we kept pretty close to the bone on this. But like Last Execution, for example, that was all based on my interviews with Chavaret, but about, I would say, at least a third of that movie is just my imagination. For example, the second most important character in that film, the Spirit, played by David Hassanabad, that was totally my fabrication. I mean, Chavaret never spoke about this or anything like that. So that was a little bit more interesting to me and more of a challenge. And I like doing that sort of stuff.
Because Bumi, like, there's a sequence that as a film director they go through, hiring the scriptwriter and then going through that. But how should I say this? Can I say, like, the most craziest moment for a scriptwriter is to make stuff happen, and sometimes it's like really screwed up in your brain. Like when it comes up, right? If you've seen all those bunch of other movies, like what the hell, it's like those type of feelings, and being able to write that, and the director putting that on film, right? So you gotta. Some people, like, they say that you gotta get stuck in the room and do some drugs, and then you come out like, okay, I'm ready to write.
Okay, well, this is time. I'm not going to talk about drugs on this show, but I mean, in terms of how I write this stuff, I mean, I just get into the story. When I'm writing, I'm just totally into the story. Right. And that's the only way I can write it. I mean, like I said, I'm not a very good plotter. I mean, there are writers who will plot everything out, scene by scene. And actually, before we started writing it, Tom and Katie came up here to Chiang Mai, and one Saturday afternoon, we sat on my living room floor with a big whiteboard and a couple of colored markers, and we just plotted out the whole thing like that. But for me, the challenge is sort of really getting inside the heads of the characters and getting inside the story itself. And then I live in that story. Okay. Tell me I'm writing it.
So what's the difference between writing The Last Executors and The Cave? Because The Cave it seems like it's based to the true story, and that one is like the other one that you put a lot of imagination to?
Well, Last Execution is based on true story. I mean, but I had more room there, and on that I was the sole scriptwriter too. So this was The Cave was a collaborative effort, and actually for me it was interesting. This is the first time I had ever written anything collaboratively, and it's just a different experience. But so Last Execution was really based on fact. I mean, I'll just give you a quick rundown on how that came about, that movie. I had a member of the FCCT, Foreign Correspondents Club in Bangkok, and when I was living in Bangkok, I would go to presentations there. One night, Chavaret was on a 3-person panel on prison life in Thailand. And I was fascinated by him as a character, because here he was, a guy who executed 55 people, and he was sitting there in an Izod shirt and khakis, a guy next to the BTS or a coffee shop. So I went up afterwards and I asked if I could do an interview with him, because he was no longer executioner at that point. He was Foreign Affairs Director at Bangkok Prison. And so a week later, I was up in his office, and I had read his book, his autobiography at that time, also called The Last Executioner. And it was the most bizarre interview I ever did. I mean, he had been a rock and roller also in his youth. So here's this guy, this executioner. I'm sitting across the table from him, and for the first 30 minutes without saying anything. He just sat there playing air guitar for me and singing me Beatles songs and that kind of stuff. And then so I had a lot of material on that, and I put it aside for a long time. And I had planned to do like a feature-length article, like for New York Times Magazine or New Yorker, like that. And then just by absolute, coincidence, Tom and I were at a mutual friend's birthday party in Bangkok, and it was a long table, and we just happened to be sitting across the table from each other. And I don't know how we started talking about execution, but Tom had always wanted to write this, do a film in the story, Chavarette, and I had all the material. I mean, I did the first interview was 5 hours with him, so I had all the material. So we just said, okay, let's do it, and that's sort of how that came about.
Wow.
But I had a lot more freedom there to invent stuff, and like the spirit character just seemed to fit in terms of advance the story.
Wow, that's some of these stories are they're very amazing to listen to, right?
Yeah,
especially your experience with all this and how you meet Tom.
Yeah, I mean, I also, like I said, I like to get to know people. It's like even for Last Execution, I didn't just interview Queen Chavarette. I mean, I interviewed about 50 different people, including the drummer from the rock and roll band he was in when he was 18 years old. I mean, everybody. Yeah. And that, that fascinates me.
So like now as a screenwriter, once you write everything, this is gonna be quite weird too, especially for me, right? Because if I can picture myself writing something like a novel or fiction, right, and then someone said, "Hey, I like your story. Can I put that on film?" Now, because I vision it like this, everyone has a different vision on their head, right? So when Tom Waller visioned it and put on a screen, did you have any thoughts on that? Like,
yeah, I had thoughts.
Okay, so
but no, I mean, basically, as a scriptwriter, you need to be ready and willing to give up, some of the story. I mean, that just comes; it's part of the job,
right?
And in the beginning, I was, I want this way, I want that way, but then that's not the process of making a film. I mean, excuse me. Very, very often in films, the final product is way different from what the scriptwriter did, and that's just part of the game. So I've sort of reconciled myself to that.
But did you get involved while they make the film?
I'm on set a lot, but I'm not that involved. I mean, I'll make some suggestions or something, but I basically leave that to the director.
Yeah. So that's what I was thinking too. Like, you probably leave everything to the director to come up with the ideas,
right?
And you just kind of go along with it. Otherwise, it's like pretty stressful, huh? To actually do everything.
And also, I mean, a lot of how a film looks is done in post-production, in editing. So even the director's vision gets changed quite a bit. And Tom has been fortunate to work with some really good editors. The editor is one of the key persons in the process of making the film. So that's also another. And I have no control of that. So just give it up.
I've always wondered, like if you had a conflict with your writing and also with what happens on in film. Like once you see everything, like do you get to see what he put on right away, or you have to wait until everything's done?
Mostly wait until
you gotta wait. Right?
I mean, I'll see some of the rushes or something like that, but not that much.
Yeah, not much. So you just like watch the last part, the final part, where he's like.
Yeah, I mean, actually, for The Cave, it was finally released in November, but Tom had a rough cut by March, and he sent that around for comments and everything. So I did see a rough cut at that point, so I had some sense of what was. But the rough cut was very different from the final product.
Yeah.
But the thing of things being changed, that's true in almost any kind of writing. I mean, as a short story writer, I had more control. Like if somebody wanted to publish my story and make a lot of changes, I just say no. You can't do that. I'll take it to somebody else. but like I've done travel articles and everything, and there too, people are going to change a lot, and that's just part of it. I mean, and certain editors will let you have final say on it or approval, and others you just sign that away. They do what they want with it. So.
So when you talked about movie editor, obviously it's different than a novel or what do you call a write-up editor.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So movie editor, like what do they look for, like in terms of mistakes or like?
No, it's not so much. It's actually. I mean, I haven't been part of the editing process, but from what I know of movie editors, they're extremely creative people.
Uh-huh.
I mean, they take the footage and they just make it pop.
Uh-huh.
You know, and they'll suggest, or work with the director to suggest sequencing or, you know, whether scenes are longer or shorter, and then of course the music gets added as well in post production, and that plays a huge part in the audience's experience of a film.
So they look for everything, music, like. Oh, wow, that's a lot of work.
Yeah, no, editors a good editor is hard to find.
Yeah. So I mean, everything that you do, you always have to have an editor. It's almost like a coach, someone to look after what your last project is. You know, like I think when we grow up, we go to school, and teachers are like our editor. So they're always like trying to guide us the right way. But some people don't need that. Some people are just born to be correct.
Right.
But it's still, I just think that giving yourself to do everything, or sharing the role to other people like Tom to direct, and you just in charge of the script, that's actually the right way to go as well.
Yeah, I mean, the choice to be a scriptwriter, like I said, you give up a lot of control, and that's you just gotta accept that. Otherwise, don't be a scriptwriter.
You do everything by yourself.
I mean, obviously a lot of scriptwriters would love, I mean, myself included, I would love to write a script and have it done exactly as I envisioned it. But that's not going to happen.
Yeah, right.
So,
because I mean, angles, like division, what's going to happen. I think that's like the hard part too for a director to make that on film and letting other people see it. Now, since we're talking about this, like when you watch other movies, do you like? I know because your mind is different than other people's mind. Like especially mine. Like some people watch movies for entertainment. Some people watch movie because they're bored and so on. But some people watch the movie and they see everything. They see the script. They see the cuts. They see like bad editing. They see everything. That's you, right?
People,
I knew it, right?
I mean, I'm the worst person to go to movies with because like I said, I mean, there's most feature films have a very, very distinct formula. I mean, almost down to the beat.
Yeah.
And in a standard film, I know what's going to change and when, and if it doesn't, I know something's wrong and everything. So, I mean, I just see everything. I see the visuals, I see the writing, I see the, things that don't fit and things that do fit very well. But I can still enjoy a film.
Right.
But you just think along the film, and then you kind of can guess. But actually, like when you write a script, how did you find the materials, and then how did you learn from others, and what type of a resource did you get, their imagination to write your script?
A couple of things. I mean, because I have a very strong academic background. I do a lot of research, and that's kind of part of the way I approach something. So, I mean, even for like The Monk, I have a stack of research like this thick, so I really get to know all the details about that. But in terms of how to put that together, that's just, it's like any artist. You just either have it or you don't have it. And I grew up sort of in movie theaters. I mean, I always loved movies. My mindset is episodic.
Right.
Like for example, when I first started writing fiction, I'm a short story writer and not a novelist because I don't see the world as a novel. I don't see it as like one whole, neat kind of package. I see it as little different episodes, and films are great for that. And I, like I said, I grew up watching films constantly. And so that sort of framed me on that and how to do it.
So what's your like favorite film growing up and
people always ask that.
idolizing that?
It's very hard to say. I mean, different times of day. There's one film that for me always comes back as kind of the ultimate film, which is Federico Fellini's 8½. And it's strange for me because I generally like narrative stuff. I don't like fantasy. I don't like surreal thing. And 8½is a very surreal film. But there's something about it that just perfect to me. And a lot of other films actually are just takeoffs on that film, like Woody Allen's Stardust Memories or Bob Fosse's All That Jazz. They're basically 8.5 rewritten. But in terms of other stories, there's I think I said I'm doing this film appreciation class at PIAP, so I get to choose what I want to show people. And I chose a weird selection because I wanted people to see what they never see before. The first one I started off with is a British film from the 1960s called The Loneliness of a Long Distance Runner. And that's, I think, a very, very well told story. You know, kind of obscure. Most people don't know it. And I also grew up in New York. There were theaters where I was growing up that they actually showed a different double feature every day of the year. And there'd be two different non-American directors. So one night you might have a Fellini and a Kurosawa, or a Bergman and a Truffaut. So I got that sort of very, very eclectic vision of what goes into a film. So you know, on different days I like different things.
See, like I mean, when we were young, Bumi and I were, I mean, I'm older than her, but I'm saying, like, when we're young, we just like watching entertainment, right? But then as we gradually, you know, age, growing up, we tend to look at things that make sense to us. And then finally, whatever can help us think better, can help us, you know, learn better or work better out in this open world. But before, you know, when I was a kid, my father used to play this movie all the time. It was Dances with Wolves, Kevin Costner. And I'm like, Dad, what's the point of watching this movie over and over? He's like, there's something about the movie inside. You have to, he takes like 10 minutes to explain, and I fall asleep. The movie's like 3 hours long.
Yes,
you know?
Especially like, I think like, especially the movie from England, like that's related to British, is really difficult to understand. I mean, like sometimes because the vocabulary itself and also the history background, and I don't really get it sometimes. I mean, yes, and actually when I actually learned from fantasy movie though. When we just mentioned about like, I do really like fantasy movie, but I think it's more like the context that you get from the fantasy movie is all about hope. It's all about encouragement and impossible. But it could be possible, something like that. That I kind of learned from that. But from the documentary film, that I learned the fact on what happened for real, and then what can I learn from the behavior of peoples. And if I watch a movie from China, I learn about how to manage people, like the strategic thinkings that I can learn behind that. But do you have, we're talking about many films, and actually do you have your signature in the script that you write? Like if people watching this movie and then this is from Don, do you have
like
that?
You know John Woo, he's got that white that white pigeon
DNA
of your style in the film.
Actually, a couple of the reviews of Last Executioner talked about the way I use black humor, dark humor, and even the short story writer. That's what I do. I'm not a sadist or anything, but I like to make people feel a little bit uncomfortable. And if I can get sort of an uncomfortable laugh out of it. So I think my signature of anything is just a kind of dark humor. And Last Executioner lent itself to that beautifully. I mean, there was so much in it. I can be mined for that. The Cave, not so much, obviously. But as a story writer too, that's what I look for.
So creativity is like your main thing. That's what you're looking for. But because of The Cave being, it's already happened, right? So all you have to do is find the script by talking to a lot of cast. And then you already have, I guess you already know what's going to happen, right? So you have to find a creative way to make it more creative. So that's difficult for you, that's a difficult job. But what about the future of film? Like, what do you see happening? Are you going to spice things up a little bit, or are you just going to, kind of...
myself?
About yourself. Like, any new jobs coming in? Or
Well, I wrote 2 other films in between Last Executioner and The Cave. Neither has been produced at this point yet, but one I like very much, and I wrote it for a French producer called Ghost People, and it's based on a true story of the Hmong people in Laos and how they were really abused, and to this very day still are. First by the French, then by the CIA, then the Americans, in Vietnam, and that was a fascinating story for me.
Okay, so I got to cut you off there because, that's the really, really interesting story. I had a coffee with a friend, and just got back from Myanmar, the border, right? So he has been on a mission to go up there and help a lot of people, and it's a war country. Yeah. So he ended up having a really good story. I kind of wanted to have him on the show and just talk about that. And he said, like, I'd rather not because it's very dangerous. What happened, right? So he at one point he was gunpoint, well, almost every time. But because he was still alive is because he's from the Catholic region, right? So he was safe. But I asked him, like, aren't you scared? He's like, that's a thrill. That's a thrill. I'm like, what the hell?
But that's kind of that's part of the thrill of it too. I mean, if you live through it, it's great.
Right.
Really,
so
it's really exciting. But,
So that's like, because it's so dark. It's so dark that you could write something, and I think we as humans feed off that. If we always look at stories where it's happy ending, then we're born to, when something happened, we can't problem solve. But if you watch, something that is always like, there's no happy ending. We all have to go through a zigzag way of life kind of thing, right? My dad would always say, hey, watching other people's way of life, especially the hard one, it helps you a lot, especially when it comes to thinking, right? But can you elaborate more when you talked about Myanmar and the Hmong and the other people there?
It's not Myanmar, it's Laos. Laos.
Oh, most Laos, right?
I mean, the story came originally from a true story, a book written by a French journalist by the name of Cyril Payan. He's a senior journalist for France 24 TV. And his grandfather, actually, was the paratrooper, the special ops paratrooper that back during the French Indochina Wars hatched the idea of using the Hmong as mercenaries. And to this very day, Cyril still feels horrified by that. So, I was asked to write a script on this. He gave me a treatment, and I said, okay, I'll read the book. It was in French. I said, no problem. I'll read it in French. And he said, no, we don't want you to. We want you to just take this treatment and run with it. So that's what I did. And, again, a lot of research in that, because there was so much that I had to learn about that. And there's some very good documentary on that as well. So, but still, it's a horrible story. I mean, to this very day, they're literally hunted like animals. The Pathet Lao still hunts them down, and it's just a horrible story. But, and actually this story too, I mean, talk about no happy ending. In the true story, in the film, we decided to, instead of using his grandfather, make it a father. It just worked better. It's just better for the story. So this is one thing you change also. But his grandfather in real life, later in life, was so horrified by what he had done that he blew his brains out.
Oh, really?
So, this is not a happy ending. But, I mean, it's interesting to write stuff like that too.
See, I mean, as a screenwriter and also fiction, these kind of feed you ideas, right, and helps you a lot. But I found it more interesting to see or read this type of stuff. Would you prefer to like watch or just read?
Watch or read?
Yeah, like I mean, obviously read, right? That's your...
You mean read other people's work?
Yeah, read other people's work.
I'm very visual at this point. I mean, I did a lot of readings in academic, but I really like things visual. That's why I went into scriptwriting. That's the way I see things, And now I much prefer visual.
Visual,
Visual, and then write it down. I mean, I just wonder when you create a character, one character, and then you have to put their character and the behavior for each character, and how do you actually project that person,
right?
And then in one person they have different angles, and how. I mean, like,
it must be the fun part right there.
Yeah, I mean, I can give you a little story from my past. When I was a short story writer for a while, I worked with a very famous American novelist named John Gardner, and John and I were friends as well. And John and I, when we first met, we immediately decided that philosophically we were totally different, but we just enjoyed each other's stuff and trusted each other. And but in terms of how you create characters, I would bring a 30-page short story to John, and he would read it, and he'd say, the main character, if he went into a car showroom, he would choose the green car, not the red car. And I knew exactly what he meant. I mean, so in other words, if you're creating a character, you need to know exactly what choices that character will make. Even if the character doesn't make those choices in the film or in the story, you need to know that in any given situation, what the character would choose to do or say, and that sort of thing. And that, that just takes some depth.
Some depth.
And not everybody can do it. I think I'm fortunate that I'm good at that. And part of that is my traveling since I was a kid. I really, even though in New York you see a lot of different things, some things you don't want to see, but traveling all over the world really helped me as a writer, because even as a young kid, I saw all different cultures and ways of doing things, and that was my best education.
Yes.
Yeah. So interesting. Now that I come to think about it, every time we watch a movie, of course, there's plot, but the most interesting thing, because Bumi mentioned it, is the character, right? So building a character, in terms of how good they are and how evil they can think, how dark they can, they can go. That's the most interesting thing, I think.
Yes.
So
especially their executioner. I mean, like they have to kill somebody, but actually they could be a good person in life. I mean, this is like different anger in one characters, and there's so many actors and actresses in one movie, and that's very complex.
Actually, I mean, that was one of the biggest challenges, because I got to know her as a person as well, and I mean, it took me a long time to reconcile how this guy could execute people and be a wonderful husband and father, and be a rock and roll. I mean, it's like, and actually, when I met him the first time at the FCCT, there's a question and answer after the thing. I asked him the question, how do you reconcile your Buddhism with your job?
Yes.
And he was able to separate it, and he felt that he was facilitating the Dharma of the prisoners and whatever. But I found out, more research, more talking to him, that he was very good at compartmentalizing. And if he hadn't, he probably would have gone crazy.
Wow.
So part of creating the spirit character was my reaction to that. I mean, I knew that if he let go of that compartmentalization, he would just flip out. He couldn't do anything. So that kind of held him together.
Yeah. See, it's all about creating interesting character, and that interesting character fit well into movie plot as well. And I've always get attracted to characters. I've always liked getting attracted to one character, and I don't really like the good character, the positive thinking character. I don't like that. I like the
bad one.
Yeah, I like the bad one.
And then you be?
Well, the thing is, they take you to. I mean, you're always positive thinking everything that you do. Right. But looking at people who thinks negative, or who do this type of things that is not required, I just want to know what they're thinking. So once I know about that, then I can understand myself a lot more. Why people think this. I'm not saying it's low, but I'm just saying maybe they don't know. Maybe just thinking like this, And there's so many things too. For example, like movies like Silence of the Lamb, or the what is it? The last one, Hannibal. The series. That type of writing. You gotta be pretty crazy, right, to write something like that, right? So I've always felt attached to that character, right? So it just, in the end, I'm not that crazy. I'm just attracted to it. You're like all scared that you're gonna do something to me. No, it's just about the writing and the final product that's released, right? So
I mean, I'm always attracted, even just a story writer. My first impetus to write something is character. So and I often see like somebody do something very quirky, and that's what I like. So actually, there's a script I'm writing on my own now, you know, and it's about a very quirky character, and that's what I like, you know. I mean, and we'll see where it goes. I mean, it's
So you're working on your work now, like that is the movie that you like to to make a movie.
But
so how does that get I guess distribute? So you just like write, and then when someone contacts you, you just talk to you about it, right?
I mean, it's very hard now because so many people write scripts.
Yeah.
And so many people are very good at it.
Right.
And you know, if you want to do big ticket stuff, you almost have to be at Hollywood or in LA.
Right.
You know, because that's where everything's going on. Or now China, actually, Chinese producing all that stuff. But I mean, this is what everybody does. You write a script and you hope that, you know, if you can sell it somehow.
Yeah.
Usually it's not so easy. One thing is that now that I have a little bit of, you know, experience behind me, people approach me as well. So actually, I've been approached by Netflix to pitch some, to do some pitches of 6-part series to them. So I'm kind of thinking about that as well now.
Yeah.
But there's also a feature film I'm doing on my own about a very different character.
And like this is getting pretty big now. What about video games? They have plots now, right? So you ever thought about that too, or you're just a film type?
I have zero interest.
Film type only, yeah.
I don't know what it is.
Film type only, and it's very deep. And it's because like your background is from academics side, so that's why he loved a lot of research.
Yeah.
This is why I think you love to research, to read, and then just put everything together, analyze it maybe.
Yeah, but I mean, I understand that people who write really good video games, they're good writers too, just very different from what I would want to do or even know about.
Yeah.
But I know that a good video game, it takes a lot of creativity. You know, it's not, not easy. You know,
Yeah, you got to be pretty crazy.
Yes. And you have to think, like, when you write the script, do you think about the end of the story already, or you just improvise?
Okay, well, this is the
that's a good question.
This is the difference between like a plot-centered writer who plot out the whole thing, which most people do, and people like me who don't really do that. I mean, I have a sense of the ending, but basically what happens to me, if I'm writing a character-centered film, I get into that character, and it kind of goes along organically, and wherever that organically takes me is the ending, and then I'll shape that, you know, so it makes sense for a movie. But different people have different approaches to that.
So, I mean, I wanted to ask you that too, but later on. But Bumi, it's okay, because I really want to know if you write the ending first. That's what most screenwriters do, right?
I don't think so. No, I mean, maybe some do, but I don't really know people who do that.
So you're just like writing from the beginning and then gradually.
Most people have it all plotted out. I mean, they know what they're going to do along the way, and then they just flesh it out. So they spend an enormous amount of time in the beginning just sort of plotting it out. And then it's filling in, you know, the scenes and the characters. I just don't think that way. I mean, I can if I need to. You know.
But that's what makes you special then, because you kind of know, because you didn't write the ending, so you have you know when you're gonna end it, right? But if you write the ending, you can kind of extend whatever you want, you know, like different series.
I mean, I actually have a problem with endings of a lot of films, even really good films. There's one in particular.
Me too. You know
Problems with ending. I don't know how to end it. Yes.
There's a film, it was a recent film, which won the Academy Award for the actress, the Danish Girl.
Okay,
It is a phenomenal film, and the actor, the actor and actress are just amazing. But even that, I mean, the actual story is quite a little bit different. There's a lot of inaccuracies compared to the real story, but that's creating a story. But I just thought that film was wonderful, except the ending. It was like they tacked on some really sentimental glop, you know, Hollywood glop to make this film. I just thought it was totally wrong. But that happens a lot, I think. You know, just for commercial reasons, they want people to go out of the movie theater feeling good. They don't want people going out and slitting their wrists.
Yeah.
So
I mean, you're right. I mean, nowadays we walk out of the movie theater, most movies, like, okay, that was a happy ending, or that was unintentional. Just leave you kind of in suspense, like, man, he's out there. He's gonna come after me some days, things like that, right? So I know, since you watch most film, and you probably like judge like Simon Cowell, like this is wrong, that's a plot hole there. You're almost like an editor now. So
it's exhausting
it
sometimes.
is, right? It is. So because most movies, when they're released, okay, we all go watch it, and we all have, I guess, the entertainment side, the good side, and the bad side. Okay, but even for myself, okay, I end up watching what really happens at the end, kind of like someone else to explain it for me. So
you don't get it.
Yeah, I don't get it. Guys, do you get what that means? I can't ask a friend because it's a spoiler. Yeah, so we don't talk about that. So I end up just searching for answers on the internet. But the thing is about being a scriptwriter as yourself, do you have to explain yourself when you write the ending? Like, the reason why I wrote the ending like this is because blah blah blah. Do you have to explain
I don't know
yourself?
to whom I have to explain. I mean, it's like I've never really thought of that, but I wouldn't feel the need to do that. I mean, unless I was working with somebody, or a director wanted to know why I did this a certain way, and then if there's a better way to do it, I'm open for it. Because I mean, also as a scriptwriter, you have to realize it's not just art. It's a business too.
Yeah.
And if you write something too weird, nobody's gonna make it.
That's the thing. That's I was asking, like, do you go with all weird out and then let people like ask you after, or do you just like make it so that way everybody understands the ending, or basically the whole story too? Yeah, because some people like they do something really, I guess you can say, incognito or like mysterious.
Right.
And then you're like, what just happened? I gotta go Google that now.
Right. The thing is, when you're watching a movie, like if I see somebody, I don't know, throw a rock or something, I know that that's setting up something for the future in the film. So everything has a sort of.
Oh, okay. So hold on, I gotta write that down. Throw a rock.
Well, anything, whatever action they do, whatever they say to somebody, it might seem inconsequential, or it might seem like you're saying a little bit weird or something.
Mysterious.
But I know that there's a purpose for it.
Yeah.
So part of the art of writing a script is you got to bear that in mind. You can't just throw in things randomly.
Yeah.
Everything has to have like a cause and effect to it, and that takes some doing. I mean, it's not easy.
Yeah, but like the main plot, of course, main plot, building a character, that's what's really matters. But people tend to put more and more plot in there, and then it just becomes like, that wasn't necessary. But they need to fill that hours as well. Like, do you ever go back to your script and like write some more?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, okay. I mean, that's part of the whole process.
Right. So you send the script over and like, hey, we need more. They send it back to you.
Yeah. Sure. Yeah,
okay, that happens a lot then.
Yeah, I mean, it's never like a one-shot deal.
Yeah.
You have to read.
Yeah, because I was wondering, how films are developed. Like, do they just write one the whole novel and they just send it? Okay, do this, and then of course you got to cut something off. You got to add some more things because they come back to you after, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's a process, like I said, and it depends how commercial they want the film to be. I mean, there's still a big indie market, and indie films tend to be much freer. Unfortunately, in the economy now, indie films basically can't make it. It's very rare for an indie film to be successful at this point. So, in terms of what you put in, what you take out, if you're in the commercial market, you gotta think of that, and you got if people make suggestions, you gotta work with them.
Yeah. Because we got about 20 minutes left. I'd like to ask you about the film festival. I'm pretty sure you attend a lot of these as well, to get the ideas. Yeah. So didn't they have one in Chiang Mai? I think they have one at Maya.
Yeah.
A while ago. You were there, right? Tom was there too.
Right. Is the European Film Festival?
Yeah, the European.
European one.
Yeah. So like these type of film, they're mostly, you said indie. Was it?
Yeah, independent films.
Independent film. So it's not really
indie like
indie.
that.
Thai people would say indie because
indie
you know the
is
indie.
very
So
indie.
independent film, most of this they didn't make it to the big screen, but then you can always download it off screen, right, and watch it.
Hopefully,
Hopefully,
yeah. I mean, there's always been a big difference between European films and American films or Hollywood films. And I grew up watching a lot of European films. I lived in Europe, and a European and world films, Japanese films, and that kind of thing. And it's a very, very different perspective. And so a lot of these happy endings, or it's a very American thing. And I sort of prefer the more open, more. Also, European films, at least until recently, they tend to be more director-centered, whereas up until recently, American films were more studio or actor. The director was not all that important. You know? And that's changed a lot. But traditionally, European films have always been auteur, the author,
Yeah, so you're right. I mean, American film, Hollywood, is always in the studio.
Right.
I've seen this sometime, like, in Korea, like in a Korea series, they set the studio just exactly like the real, like they built the room as where it's a condo. I mean, it's how crazy that can they do that. But in Thailand, I have seen some movie in Thailand. It's all about location. They find the best location. They find the sunrise. I mean, like maybe it just depends on the movie.
Yeah, I mean, most people think that being on a movie set is very, exciting and sensual. I mean, it's not. It's boring. It's really boring.
It's boring.
I mean, one scene that you see on the screen, it might be 30 seconds, 45 seconds.
Yes.
It might take half a day to shoot.
Yes.
Over and over and over again.
Yeah.
So it's that's the way it's made. It's
but at least you don't have to go through that, right?
Yeah. And in terms of sets and everything, locations, I mean, some of it's amazing. Like in the cave, none of it was done in the cave, obviously. But that whole set of the, where the boys are rescued and the underwater stuff, that was all it was shot in Bangkok. The location director had found an abandoned Olympic-sized swimming pool in I think Nonthaburi or Ramintra on the outside of Bangkok, and they built that whole thing. It took a month to build the thing, but it was very small, and to get the underwater bubbles, they simply put the Steadicam, they wrap it up and put it underwater and everything. So it's all sort of sleight of hand, and again, as a writer, once you notice it, you see all of that, But the best way that comes out is that the audience just sees this continuity, continuous and exciting, and that's the way it should be.
So you just talk about the audience. Actually, I just want to ask, like, because you have seen the whole process of making a movie, and also you are also a script writer. But when we are in the audience, when we watch a movie, and how can we appreciate the movie, and what should we look for, or like when we watch a movie, what should we see in that movie, the plot, the message, or what is
the scene.
Yeah,
is
the
one
scenes,
of the scene,
and how to appreciate that movie.
Yeah.
Well, you can sign up my course at Thailand.
Yeah, because I use these words because you're teaching.
No, I mean it's
appreciation.
Actually, when I'm teaching this, I try to get people. I take it from all different angles, and I actually started off the class with the different ways of looking at a film, and certain people focus on certain things, I mean, and but I think the thing is, in terms of appreciating film, either to just go with it and not worry, or if you want to break it down a little bit, I mean, just understand that all the parts interconnect. The music, the visuals, the angles, the character, everything, it all sort of interconnects.
Yeah. So once I see that, what you just said there, is like an epic film right there. Lord of the Rings style.
Right.
Peter Jackson. Yes. But that is a right message too. Like to come to think about it, there's always one scene where we all replay, Or sometimes, when I watch a rerun of the movie, I don't watch from the beginning, but I watch from that part where I want to see this part. There's always that one scene, there's always the epic scene where we always look for. Now, you also, this is what I wanted to, because last time, Lakpa, a friend of mine, right? So the earthquake in Nepal that happened, right? So you came in contact with them, and you wanted to, I guess you say, write about that?
In some way, I mean, part of that is I have a very close friend, a Nepalese guy who owns an art gallery in Kathmandu, and he's been here a number of times. And, I'm very close with him and his family, so I was also very concerned about that. So I wanted to know more about what was going on, because I know that in the news you get certain angles and everything, but you often don't get the real close-in effects on individual people.
Right.
So but I ended up not writing anything about it. I just wanted to know.
Oh, you just wanted to know, because he did mention about that. So I thought, you, I guess knowing is also an experience. So perhaps it could, be into one of your ideas for the future film as well, right? Because this type of things doesn't happen often, right? So for example, the cave, and back in the days, the earthquake in Nepal. Yeah, that was pretty crazy when we all hear. But now I guess we're expecting you to do some Netflix series, right?
Hopefully. And it's there's a lot of people doing that. But I was asked to submit some pitches, and actually, I mean, that sort of is the future, because theaters are just dying out.
Yeah, for sure.
And I hate to sound like an old disenchanted guy, but the movies now, I mean, the movies that make it into the movie theaters, most of it's CGI and green screens and everything. There's very little plot involved with it. But Netflix, for example, there's some spectacular stuff on there. So some of their series, first of all, compared to other TV, there's no limits on anything now. There's no limits on what they show, what they say, what they do.
Right, yeah.
And people are able to sort of go off in whatever directions they like. And there's some amazing stories.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I've spent enough time on Netflix.
Yes. I think just, as you mentioned, just go with the flow. And I think this is a great opportunity of the platform that open more space for, many movies, not just only in the movie theater itself, which normally you invest a lot of money to make one movie, and I think with technology, with this digital era, just give more opportunity for the script writer, and also but actually how to contact you. I mean, how to contact you.
Yeah, how do they contact you mostly? Yes. They just send you an email or?
Yeah, or through somebody, I mean. It's,
through somebody,
referrals.
Always connection.
Or somebody, I mean, I get a lot of cold calls from people, either want to interview me or everybody has a script they want me to look at. That sort of thing. Well, I mean, Netflix just sort of came through another reference. But interesting with that, too, I mean, so they have these 6-part episodes, but one of the things they told me in creating the pitch was, certain things, certain requirements that they had. One of the things they said is it has to be binge watchable. So actually what happens with some of these 6-part, series and everything, they end up being one film anyway. Because I do the same thing. I'll sit down and I'll spend half a day watching 6 episodes in a row. So in a way, they're kind of like little, they're movies in and of themselves, but they're much longer. I mean, if you have a 6-part series and each episode is 45 minutes, that's a whole lot longer than a standard film.
Right.
So you have to develop more.
And I've had a chat with a friend. Well, we're all getting pretty old now. We got to a point where every series it takes time, right? It's time consuming, and it takes us a long time to finish it because we end up falling asleep and then watching the same episode 5 times, for example.
Tell me about it.
Sometimes I just do until 5 a.m. in the morning.
Yeah.
Then I wake up and just I have to continue.
Yeah, exactly, right? So we have 10 minutes left. We're just gonna say goodbye, but also any other last word you would like to send a message out to someone who wanna be just like you? or
Yes.
Don't be like me. You don't want to do that.
Maybe like,
No, but, I mean, if people want to write and everything, just do it. I mean, people think about it a lot, and you just gotta jump in.
Yeah.
And again, I don't mean to sound cynical, but you can teach people how to write, but you can't give them creativity. I mean, if they don't have the creativity, it's just it's not going to happen.
Yeah, I was gonna ask. Sorry, like what types of mindset should you recommend to people when they, in terms of writing, for example?
what the skill set that they should cultivate and to have to be a good writer.
Right.
Yes.
Well, lose touch with reality. That helps.
Okay, so you get off.
in some way, get into your own world. But in terms of actual skills, I mean, it's it's a craft like anything else. I mean, you can't be a good potter if you don't know how to.
Exactly.
Put the clay on the wheel, that kind of thing. So you got to learn the craft as well, and that's really important. And especially for a lot of young writers, they don't want to do that. I mean, I had a very similar situation when I was in college. There was a seminar I was taking. It was a very limited seminar. Everybody wanted to take this, and the professor was a fantastic guy, and he loved what I wrote. We had to write an essay every week. And he said, "Great writing, great ideas, but you need to learn form, because it was about poetry." It was and so he kept giving me books on kind of the craft of poetry, and I kept giving them back to him. I didn't read them, saying, "Oh, it's going to spoil my creativity if I learn that." And then one day I read the book, and it like a whole other world for me, because it gave me a foundation. So I mean that's the important thing, especially for beginning writers. You got to know the craft. You can't just, no matter how wonderful your ideas are, and how brilliant you are, creative, unless you can shape that into something that people can understand or appreciate, it's not going to work.
And also like the learning curve, and also taking constructive criticism on yourself as well. That helps you grow, right? So do you
it gets you really annoyed.
Yes, and procrastination. How do you deal with that? Like, how do you deal with that? Like procrastination.
Oh, I'm horrible. I mean, I have a buddy in LA who's a scriptwriter, and he gets up same time every morning, has the same breakfast. He writes from one time, and then he has lunch, and then he takes that. And I can't do that. I mean, I'm totally unstructured, but we both get it done. So I mean, whatever works for you. I mean, but just bear in mind that you are creating something that you want other people to understand or appreciate, and that's the bottom line. However you do it is up to you. What works best for you.
I mean, like teachers who, I know someone who's writing a book right now, and he said he had to eat the same lunch, and I said, why would you do that? But it's like every idea goes into that book, but if he's thinking about lunch, he loses that rhythm going into it, right? So I can understand your friend.
I mean, and one thing about being a writer, if you're writing these things, and this sounds terrible, I know, but you have to think that you are always right. And that really alienates a lot of people. A lot of people don't like you for that.
You're always right, because I'm a writer. I'm doing right.
Unless you do that, you can't create the world. You can't create the character. At least you have to be right in that world that you're creating. Unfortunately, for most people, myself included sometimes, it spills over into the real world too, and that really annoys people. But so you gotta work with it a little bit. But I mean, in other words, you have to have confidence in what you're doing. You have to have confidence in your vision.
Right.
Yes.
And that's really important.
Okay.
Yes.
So, well, thank you. It's an honor for you to come and join the show.
Thanks. And
for sure, if you have a next project after that, you're welcome to come back on the show.
Terrific.
And let us know about it.
Great.
Yes.
Right. So I would like to request another song from you, because you're such a really good DJ.
Yes, especially blue music.
Yeah, blue music, right? So do you want more Rolling Stone or anything that you like?
Okay. Why don't we do Dylan Like a Rolling Stone? We'll kind of cut the difference. Bob Dylan Like a Rolling Stone.
Bob Dylan, okay.
Bob Dylan.
Okay, so let's see what songs. Okay, Bob Dylan.
Like a Rolling Stone.
Like a Rolling Stone. I like this one too. like Rolling Stone. Here we go.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's the final song we're gonna depart you guys with. So thanks again, Dawn.
Thanks. It's been a pleasure.
Coming in,
It's been fun. Thanks.
I hope you like it. I mean, like we've been talking for 90 minutes.
Yes.
I got another 90 easy.
It's not easy. It's not
Yeah,
easy.
right.
So we want you to just take a break now, right?
Yes.
And why don't you take away with the rest of the message for saying goodbye? I always leave it to her.
Leave it to me.
I always leave it to her.
Actually-
That's why she's here.
Yeah, that's why I am here. But anyway, thanks very much, Mr. Don Linder, for sharing us your stories and how you work, and also sharing the work, the masterpiece that you have awarded, and then also sharing the work ethics and how to be a good writer, and it's going to affect a lot of people in a good way, in a positive way. And I got a lot of motivation today, and it's very inspiring me
Good.
as a writer.
Good to hear.
And thank you very much for coming